Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your angel and spirit guide message reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. Now before we dive right in, I just want to say that these readings are focusing on love, light, and positivity during these uncertain and scary times in order to raise us up instead of bringing us down. There's more than enough out there right now to bring our energy vibration up. This is to keep us positive and to keep us moving forward. So we're going to be starting with your spirit guide animal cards, your totem animals for this time. These are going to be, the animals that if you see them in the wild or if you see an image of them, this is really your angels and your spirit guides tapping you on the shoulder saying, remember this message. So let's see what they have to say. Angel and spirit guide message for Libra. Angel and spirit guide message for Libra. Angel and spirit guide message for Libra. Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. Okay, so these two, we have the parrot spirit, which says watch your words, and then we have the ant spirit, which says time to collaborate. So watch your words and it's time to come together, which is absolutely beautiful. It might be a little tricky. You might be sitting there and saying, listen, I'm quarantined, I'm self-quarantining, coming together is harder than it usually is. This is telling us and reminding us, to Skype, to actually call people on the telephone and talk to them instead of just texting. You're going to get a lot of positive energy from those connections. Okay, let's see here. Angel and spirit guide message for Libra. So, creativity and flexibility. And this is your sacral chakra really shining through brightly here. So with the sacral chakra shining through, this is a release of negativity from this life, from past lives, as you move forward. And it's going to give you creative insights and flexibility of mind and understanding. Angel and spirit guide message for Libra. Show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. So we have the Ten of Swords at the center of it all. Then we have the Two of Wands. The Hermit, which makes perfect sense. That's a Virgo energy, a time frame of August 23rd to September 22nd. The Five of Swords. The Eight of Wands. The Fool. The Hanged Man. The Nine of Wands. The Seven of Wands. And the Lord, which is a fire sign energy, which is an Aries. And that is a time frame of March 21st to April 19th. So let's start off by talking about the parrot and the ant spirit. So the parrot is all about communication. It says, watch your words. What we speak into reality, what we speak into the world becomes part of our reality. So watching our words, watching what we say, watching what we focus on, especially during these times, is going to be so very important to raise our energy vibration and keep us moving forward. Because if we give in to negativity, we lower our immune system, we lower our sense of joy and our sense of connectivity with all that is and all that will be. And so then here we have the ant spirit, which says it's time to collaborate. It's time to connect. It's time to move forward in positivity, in creativity, and coming together. Now, if you're self-isolating, this can be a bit difficult, but it's also, an increase of knowledge. This can be a fantastic time to read the books that you've always wanted to read, or, watch the movies that you've always wanted to watch, and not feel alone, but have this influx of creativity coming into your life. Talking with people, meditation is going to be highly important for you during this time. And you're going to see that the more you connect with people, the more the puzzle pieces come together, the more you see, the more you understand. And this leads you to creativity. And I love that you have, 9, which is flexibility, and then 10, which is creativity. So with this progression, or digression, whichever way you want to count it, with the 10, with the creativity, there is a sense of letting go of negativity. And as you let go of negativity, of bonds, of doubts, of fears, of apprehensions, you start to see yourself moving forward in power, in purpose, in understanding. And as you do so, you embrace a flexibility of self, a new way of seeing things, a new insight. So with the sacral chakra being embraced here during this time, it is also an increase of sexual energy, of creative energy. So you might very well feel that, right? And it can be a bit frustrating, especially if you're stuck in the house all alone, but it is also going to be a highly creative, highly powerful and personal time for you to move forward. So here it is channeling that energy for creation, for purpose, and for personal expansion. Now, at the center of everything, we have the 10 of Swords. The 10 represents an ending of a cycle and a starting of a new. So here with the 10 of Swords, it's a cycle of thought. And as you end this cycle of thought, you move forward. This is the darkness before the dawn. You move out of the darkness into the beauty of the dawn. And as we see here, there is a sense of passion very much being a part of you. Directionally, this is south. And then with the Hermit, directionally, this is north. So here, it's kind of like following your guiding star as you move forward. Following the North Star is really how I see this. And there's a passion that you want to embrace, but you've been overwhelmed by thought. Now, the way that I've also come to see the 10 of Swords is that it's a decade process. So for a decade, each year, you have one major event that has stabbed you in the back, that has hurt you, that has wounded you. And it might be instantaneous that you can pull it up, and it might be that you have to think about it for a little bit. You might be like, oh no, that was a really great year. But there's always something that happens that, gives us a blow, even if it winds up being a blessing in the end. And so this is the accumulation of that knowledge, of that hurt, of that disappointment, of that apprehension, of that fear. And as you embrace this knowledge, as you take it in, as you understand, as you build, and as you grow, there's a sense of being brought to your knees. Yes, because it's like one more thing, and I'm just going to scream. But also here, he has a wealth of knowledge in his back. The swords represent the mind. It represents clear thinking. It represents intelligence. It represents brilliance of mind. And so at times it might feel like you can't go on anymore. Like one more thing is just going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. But what you're going to see is that because of everything you've been through, everything you have persevered against, you are rising to new heights. And as you rise, you're really going to have the urge to defend your right to be there. You're going to sit there and say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is where I want to be, and, be damned if you disagree. Not literally, but figuratively, because I'm not going to take fools coming at me anymore. And it's going to be a very powerful feeling is what I really see here, because there's a bit of kind of being wounded, and when you don't feel well and you're wounded, or even if you look at an animal, when they're wounded, they're much more likely to attack. So here with the 7 of Wands, this is saying do not be, somebody's rug, right? But I remember I had a person tell me one time, you can only be walked on if you lay down. So stand your ground, know your truth, have really set limits, because that's going to be really important to you and for you, because there's going to be such a sense of, kind of the chaos of the world is getting to you. You are a person, Libra, who loves love, who loves balance, who loves harmony, and things have gone topsy-turvy. So here you're going to think, okay, I can combat this. I can go after what is truly needed. And the fact of the matter is things have to take their natural course. And the way you combat the chaos is to increase your positivity and to stand your ground in your truth. And it's not to meet people, head on and say, you will think like I think, or you will understand where I'm coming from. Because some people never will. And they might just sit there and see your dreams and laugh at them. There's an Avett Brothers song, and I love this one quote from them. I forget the name of the song, but it says, if the one you love laughs at your dreams, then one of them has got to go. So it means that either you have to give up on the one that you love. You have to say, you know what, if you can't take me as I am and what I dream and what I want, you have to go. Or it is that you get rid of your dream and you say, you know what, you're right, I'll become what you want me to be. And here I really see that as being where you stand and what you stand for, And you're going to find the people who love you and the people who don't. And you're going to understand things a lot more clearly. Yeah, a lot more clearly as you stand your ground and know your truth. Because you're bridging the gap with the Two of Wands. You're bridging the gap. You're knowing where you stand. You're knowing what you stand for. And as you bridge the gap with the Nine of Wands, it's like enough is enough. This is saying, I'm not listening to the chaos, to the hardship, to the pain, to the disappointment that people throw at me, or the way that they want me to be and the way that I cannot be, because this is who I am. And I am not you and you are not me. And so here with the Nine of Wands, I like to think of the wands as trees. I really do. And so with the Nine of Wands, I see it as a purification of the air. I see these trees being planted. They're purifying the air, which, Libra, you are an air sign energy. You feed off of the knowledge that comes to you on the wind. Okay? You like to be as free as the wind. You do not do well. Air sign energies do not do well with the sense of being tethered. You love a tree to come home to, but you need to be a bird. So here, with the Nine of Wands, there's a purification of the air that is leading you forward. And it's also saying there needs to be a purification of what you are taking in. Because there's a sense of people speaking at you and things being said at you that aren't you. And you need to listen to your soul, yourself, your power, your truth. Because here, with the Eight of Wands, things start moving fast. Things start changing. And you might be a little bit kind of taken aback by how quickly things change, how much things move forward. But you are going to be precipitating this change because you are the one throwing the wand. Now, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there we go, it is, it's 8 wands, not 4. It's 8 wands flying through the air. And what's beautiful is it's the same reverse or right side up. It's kind of like how I see this, because that's how I was taught. One of my teachers, he says, this is the same way. Upside down or right side up. He's like, they're still going. So here, there is a sense of, even when things are topsy-turvy, and you might feel very much like things are topsy-turvy, it's still moving. It's still going. This change is still coming. It cannot be stopped. It's almost like this change that is coming into your life. It has a mind of its own. It has an essence of its own. And you might find yourself being swept up in it. Be mindful. Step back a little bit. Take in. Okay? It's kind of like you need to take in what you're aiming towards. And as you take it in, you aim true. But if you're just throwing the spears without taking in your target, you're going to fly all kind of higgly-wiggly. They're going to go everywhere. And then this brings us to the Lord. The Lord, I always look at him as David in the Old Testament. And so with David, one of the reasons why I always found him so enchanting is that he was so terribly human. And when I was younger, I was like, wow, he makes mistakes just like everybody else. He's not perfect. And that was something I really did find, kind of mesmerizing. And so all of us, what I see with the Lord is that all of us have the power to claim our throne and rule with greatness, to own our mistakes just like David did, but to constantly be connected to the divine. And as you are, you wear the antler crown. It's kind of like you are connected with nature, you are connected with the earth, you are connected with your insights, and you're grounded. There's also a passion to you, a determination, a sense of this is what needs to be. This is how I need to move forward. And that's why just instantaneous reaction isn't going to be good. Because a Lord, he plans. And he doesn't do anything by mistake. Because he's kind of moving 5 steps ahead of everybody else. And that's what you're going to see happening. You're moving ahead of everybody else. And as you do so, the fool starts his journey. Now you might sit there and say, okay, he's the first, he's the bottom of the major arcana. I see him as the archetypical? What is that word? I cannot think of it. But I see this as our beginning of the conscious journey. Okay? Jung said that we start. And this is like the archetype of the child. And it's starting our journey. It's saying, where do I want to be? How do I want to move forward? What is it that I desire? And you start off with this endless sense of hope and power and purpose, and nothing will come in my way. And there's an excitement. You even have the dog right here, like, yes, let's go, as you walk off the edge of the cliff. Now, you might actually be walking off the edge of a cliff. Do you fall or do you fly, or do you do a bit of both? Because when you take a leap towards your dreams, when you say, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going after, and this is where I need to be, you will have times where you fall. You will have times where you sit there and you land bloody and just overwhelmed and saying, is it worth it? And the answer is, oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is. It is worth it. So with the Fool, and it's not being a fool. And sometimes it can be to other people, you're being foolish. But it's walking your journey. And that's where the Nine of Swords, not the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Wands comes into play. Because as you listen to everybody else, if you listen to everybody else and you let them guide you, be you, they will keep you from walking your journey, from starting your life path, from going after what you desire. But with the Nine of Wands, there is a sense of passion, creativity, power. As you filter out the naysayers, you mind your words, and you see the power that words hold. You already know this. Again, you're an air sign energy, Libra. Words are so absolutely important to you. As you turn inward, you see the knowledge that was given to you from the hardships, from the pain, from the disappointment. The dawn comes, and you move forward in your blessings, in your brilliance, in your truth. And you will come up against trials and tribulations, things that you have been through where you sit there and it's kind of like karmically, things that you have been through and you thought, I thought I was done with this. I did not want to do this. I do not want to move forward this way. And with the Five of Swords, I see this as, karmically coming back to things where you're like, why does this always happen to me? It's because we haven't learned our lesson yet. And I myself, I'm like, whenever I get the Five of Swords, I'm like, oh, please, didn't I do this right the first time? And the answer is from Spirit, no, you didn't. You didn't stand your ground. You didn't know your truth. You thought it was your fault. But here with the Five of Swords, and I know the traditional way to read it is kind of like bad sportsmanship. But for me, that does not ring true. In medieval times and in ancient times, you would be considered the greatest fool in the world. The greatest fool. If you sat there and you gave your enemy back their swords and you turned their back on them. I mean, look at Romeo and Juliet. That's a blood feud that ruined the lives of a family. Blood feuds were a real thing. So you would not give them back their sword. Actually, it's considered merciful to the point of idiocy to let him have his life. So here it is being merciful, but it is also being powerful. It's knowing your purpose, your limits, your desires, how it is that you want to move forward, where it is that you want to be. And saying, this is my truth. And absolutely embracing it. So karmically, things will come back. And you're going to face it and say, oh no, I can't. But you need to be a bit firmer within yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to be nasty to anybody. But it means that you listen to your gut instincts, you know your reaction, and you sit there and you say, this is where I stand. This is what I want. And this is how I move forward. And as you face this, as you have these people come back, and it can even be, within your DNA, okay? Challenges that were had before you were even born within your family DNA. And when you were born, you inherited their strife, their struggles from the way you were raised, from simply, being you, simply your blood had it in you. And so you're facing something that might not be kind of your burden to bear, but it's inherited. So here, there's also a sense of looking at things and saying, you know what, that's not my truth. That was my parents' truth. That was, this person's truth, but it's not mine. And you stand and you vanquish the past and you move forward victorious in the present. But know that there will be things that try you It's kind of like being tested. But with the 5, here, 5 is a number of kind of quick completion. It won't be forever, but it's also a freedom number. By facing this, you move forward in freedom. You move forward in determination. You claim your throne. And you're nobody's rug. But you also know when to defend, when to rise, and when to step back and say, this battle, I do not want to fight it. It's not that I'm giving up. It's that I'm not fighting what is senseless. It's kind of like asking yourself in a fight, will this matter 5 years from now? Will it? If you say yes, then, by all means. But if you say no, and it's just causing you agita, that it's just, adding weight upon your shoulders, then to heck with it. Your happiness is worth something. And it's worth more than engaging in other people's egos. And the Hangman is saying that you're seeing everything differently. Is it painful? Yes. Does this look comfortable? No, not at all. So here, there is a sense of seeing things differently than everybody else. And you might feel completely out of sorts because of it. But you turn inward. And then you see the enlightenment comes. Is enlightenment easy? No, it never is. Do you feel like an outsider looking in as you embrace it? Yeah, of course you do. But you're embracing your truth, your power, and you are going to see situations differently than everybody else. Does it mean that it's wrong? No. It means that you're following your internal light. This is also, of course, the Hermit is isolation. The Hermit is going into yourself, most definitely. It can be a creative period. Back in the Georgian era, I believe it is the Georgian era, yeah. Rich people, used to hire poor people to live as hermits on their land. And so I always think that's so terribly funny. Because they're like, listen, you live as a hermit. To atone for my sins, I'm going to go party and do whatever the heck I want. Now, the poor people were usually artists who needed a place to live as they, worked with their instruments, as they painted, as they wrote, things like this. And so as you turn inward, it's going to be a highly creative time for you. I'm just seeing you be that hermit in that cave. And it's a highly creative time for you. And there's a power, there's a purpose, there's a loyalty with the repeat of the dogs here. There's a loyalty to you, to what you're going after, to what you're discovering on this precipice. Because both the Fool and the Hermit are standing on a precipice of something great. They're standing on the edge. He's not completely at the edge, but you know what I'm saying. He's close enough to kind of taking that leap towards something more. And it comes from knowing that, yes, you see things differently. And not saying, oh, that's bad, but going, yeah, that's slightly brilliant. Because as you do so, you believe in yourself. You believe in you, and you stand your ground. Your subconscious message for this time is the King of Swords. That's you. You are represented by the swords in the minor arcana. You are represented by the Justice card in the major arcana. You're cutting through the doubts and fears. You know where it is that you stand. You know what it is that you want. You have this very strong kingly energy, emperor energy to you, which you can see as masculine, but I also see it as being the actor upon the stage, the person who is seen. So you are seen. Your knowledge, your understanding, your wit, your power, your purpose, your drive is seen. Embrace it. Because it might only be seen by you during this time, but that's the only person who really needs to see it. As you claim your throne, as you know your truth, you move to listening. Now, I love this card because with the third chakra, I always think of it as talking. You always think of the third chakra as talking. Listening is also a part of it. Knowing that everybody has different words. A different way of defining those words. A different history behind them. A listening to what the world is saying. A listening to what your heart is saying. A listening to what the people around you are saying, feeling, understanding. Listening is going to be one of your greatest skills during this time, and it's going to be one that you will very easily overlook, but it's going to be important. Oh, goodness. And then we have the butterfly spirit, and this says the transformation is beautiful. The transformation that you undergo during this time to embrace your power, to embrace your truth, to know where you stand and what you want is stunning, breathtaking. And you fly to heights that you didn't imagine could be yours. And as you fly, look at that. There's a crown on the parrot. There's a crown on the butterfly. Watch your words. Watch what you are creating. Because here, you have the power of a royal. You have the power of a ruler. Because you are the ruler of your destiny. You will transform and you will become. And you will embrace greatness. Because you are greatness. All right, Libra. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all. Bye.